Damage Done begins, she basically kind of chucked her engagement and ran away to Spain, which is modeled a little bit on her idol, Ava Gardner. And in that book, she's called back home to New York when she's told that her sister's died. When she comes home, first thing she finds out is that it's not her sister's body that was found. It was a woman who'd stolen her sister's identity and was living in her sister's apartment, and her sister is missing. And because her sister her sister's a drug addict and she's been in trouble with the law before, Lily doesn't know whether or not her sister might be the victim of a crime or if she's actually involved in the death of that woman. So that's kind of what drags Lily into the world of sort of crime and mystery. The second book, the next one to fall, is set just shortly after, about 3 months after the first one, and it's set in Peru, and Lily is there at Machu Picchu when, wouldn't you know it, a woman actually dies at Machu Picchu. And there's some debate over whether the woman fell, whether she was on drugs, but Lily actually speaks to this woman before she dies, and the woman accuses a man of pushing her. Her travel companion, her boyfriend, pushed her. And, you know, the man doesn't come forward, no one comes forward to say they were traveling with this woman, and Lily is the person who kind of takes it on and feels that she has to get justice for this person, and so that sort of leads her into that scenario. The latest book, Evil in All Its Disguises, is very different. This is the first time that I've actually written a book that was kind of inspired by a real-life story of someone that I knew. So I mentioned that I worked for Frommer's Travel Guides. I worked for them for 10 years. Back in May 2000, one of our editors went on a press trip. She went to Jamaica, and she went missing. She wasn't supposed to be in Jamaica. She was actually on a trip that was supposed to go to Cuba. And they were turned back at the last minute, the group of journalists, and the resort chain that was hosting the trip decided to take them to Jamaica instead. And they were split up at a couple of different resorts. And a few days in, this editor went missing. And she was a very savvy traveler, someone who'd been all over the world. And the maids who were cleaning her room noticed that she wasn't sleeping in her room. They noticed that she was gone even though her stuff was there. They reported it to the hotel. The hotel didn't do anything. The hotel didn't tell the police. They didn't do anything. When the editor was supposed to have returned home and, you know, her parents couldn't get in touch with her, she didn't show up at the office, both Frommer's and her parents called the resort that she'd been staying at, and the resort said that she had checked out.
Which resort?
I couldn't, you know what, I would be lying right now if I tried to say the exact name of the resort. It was owned by the sandals chain, but I can't tell you exactly which resort it was. And so anyway, her parents called the police, and the police went to the hotel. They found her passport in the safe in her room. They found her clothes. They found her purse. They found her money. They did not find any sign of her. And so this opened up an investigation that the resort, in all honesty, was not very helpful with. When they were questioned by the police then, they said that this editor had been using drugs and that she had been in the bar flirting with men and carrying on and kind of, you know, who knows what might have happened to a person like that. But they were not helpful in any way. And so anyway, so fast forward to, you know, this is years later now. She has never turned up. Her body has never been found. Her parents worked with the police in Jamaica. They also hired private investigators. They think they know what happened to her because they did find her DNA in the car of a hotel employee, a man who was a bartender. And but no one has ever been arrested for anything. No one has ever been charged with a crime. And you know, it's one of those incredibly sad stories where there's no good resolution to it. So with this, but that was a story that for me, I've carried around since then, because this editor was a year older than I was when I met her. She, like I say, very savvy traveler. And after this happened, I started thinking of press trips very differently. When I started going on them, I always thought, oh, it's so luxurious. You get taken care of, you get someone organizing your schedule, you get all this access to see great things. They'll open up museums for you late at night so you can be the only, you know, group of people there. It's so lovely. And I started looking at the other side of it, which is that there are some places where tourism is so important to them that they don't want to know about it if something bad happened. They certainly don't want it on kind of their record, anything that might put somebody off from traveling to that destination. And so they will actually sweep it under the carpet.